Somewhere in a cave in Israel, there's a skeleton curled into a ball. Its hands are folded near its chest. A deer antler rests across it, placed there on purpose. Not by accident, not by a predator, by someone. 100,000 years ago, that's tens of thousands of years before writing, before farming, before cities existed, and yet someone already understood something we still struggle with today. What do you do with a body once the person is gone? Burial feels obvious now. A funeral, a grave, maybe a headstone. But for millions of years, our ancestors just left bodies where they fell. So something changed. In this video, the oldest deliberate burial ever found. The theory that a species with a brain a third the size of ours may have buried its dead before we did. And the real reason burial spread, probably not the one you're thinking of. Let's start at the beginning. Go back roughly 100,000 years to two limestone caves in what's now northern Israel, Qafzeh and Skhul. Archaeologists found skeletons that weren't scattered by animals or time, but arranged. Legs bent, arms folded. One young man was buried holding the jaw of a wild boar. A child was buried with a deer antler on its chest. Bodies left to decompose naturally don't end up folded neatly. Scavengers and time pull them apart. Someone placed these bodies like this, then covered them. That's the working definition of deliberate burial. Intentional placement, plus covering. And right now, Qafzeh and Skhul are the oldest confirmed examples of Homo sapiens doing exactly that. Here's where it gets interesting, because we might not have been first. In Shanidar Cave, northern Iraq, archaeologists found Neanderthal remains in a shallow pit, dated between 50,000 and 70,000 years ago. In the 1960s, researchers found pollen clumps around one skeleton and floated a theory that made headlines. Neanderthals buried their dead with flowers. Later research pushed back, suggesting burrowing rodents may have dragged the pollen in, not mourners. But the burial pit itself still stands, which raises an uncomfortable question for anyone who grew up picturing Neanderthals as dumb cavemen. What if burying the dead isn't uniquely human at all? What if it's older than our species? Fast forward to around 34,000 years ago, a site called Sungir in Russia. This is where burial stops looking like instinct and starts looking like something else. Two children were buried head to head, covered in over 10,000 ivory beads each, beads that took roughly 45 minutes each to carve by hand. That's thousands of hours poured into decorating two dead children. They were buried with spears carved from mammoth tusks, straightened using techniques we still don't fully understand. Nobody spends thousands of hours on hygiene. This was grief, status, belief in something after death. Somewhere between Qafzeh and Sungir, burials stopped being practical and became ritual. So which is it? Practical or spiritual? Probably both at different points. One theory: early burial was hygiene. Decomposing bodies attract predators and disease, so covering them protected the group. Another: it protected the body itself from scavengers. A third, the one Sungir supports, says burial became about identity. This person mattered, and we want to mark that. Burial may have started as pest control. Somewhere along the way, it became something closer to love. Here's the part that broke a lot of assumptions. In 2023, researchers in South Africa's Rising Star Cave system claimed to find something buried by Homo naledi, a species with a brain about a third the size of ours, with no confirmed complex language. If true, a small-brained relative of ours was digging graves before Homo sapiens existed. The claim is disputed. But even the possibility forces a hard question. Maybe burial was never about big brains or advanced culture. Maybe it's simply what happens when any creature is capable of recognizing loss. So why did we start burying the dead? Not one reason. It shifted over time. First, maybe to keep predators and disease away, then to say goodbye. Eventually to believe the goodbye wasn't final. That skeleton in Qafzeh, curled up with a deer antler on its chest, someone loved that person enough to give them a proper resting place 100,000 years before headstones existed. What do you think ancient humans believed happened after death? Tell me your theory in the comments.